And welcome to TWD. We're back. Indeed, we are. We're going to go recap the first half of the season and then kind of maybe preview the upcoming second half. So stay tuned and don't forget, this is KBLB LLC brought to you by King's Cannabiz. Be right back.
Is his wallet leather? Is his wallet fat? For not a year later, it's got you lying on your back. You should have closed your windows and got another dog. You should have chained up all the doors and switched up all the locks. And how many times have I prayed? The angels would speed me now. Blackbird song is over now. Mouths are dry, river runs, hands are tied, preacher's son. Pack your things,
Okay, welcome to KBLP LLC and The Walking Dead. Yes, we are back. Yay! Getting excited about the second half of the season. So, 18 months after the defeat of Negan, under an alliance of communities, of course, led by Andrew Lincoln Rick, this season focuses on the united communities as they face obstacles and dangers both outside and inside their alliance. And of course, with the threat of the mysterious whisperers looming, yes. And unfortunately, of course, Andrew Lincoln is not in the series anymore. He'll be in a lot of flashbacks and in the Walking Dead movies, so lots to look forward to there. And of course, Lauren Cohan, who played Maggie, of course. She's got a new show called Whiskey Cavalier. I hope she does well. I really do. I don't know. I'm going to watch it and see if Maggie comes out somewhere. She played Maggie for so long that I don't know. I hope she does well though. Anyway, kind of recapping it. In episode 1 of season 9A, the various communities, of course, are working on rebuilding a society. However, the sanctuary suffers from infertile ground and underlying support for Negan. Rick leads a trek to a Washington, D.C. museum to recover pioneering supplies. On the way back, that was an interesting episode. I really thought that was cool, what they took and everything. That they even chose a museum. That was a great, great idea. But on the way back, they find a main bridge to Hilltop has been wiped out by the storm, forcing them to detour. A young man, Ken, is killed while protecting the horse from walkers, and Gregory is ousted as Hilltop's leader, convinces Ken's father, Earl, to try and assassinate Maggie. But of course, as we all know, he fails. Rick and Michonne ask Maggie for Hilltop's help in providing for the sanctuary, but she refuses. And that evening, Maggie has Gregory publicly executed for his actions. That was great. Moving on to the bridge in episode 2, this is a month after Gregory's death. The community worked together to repair the bridge. Several saviors have gone missing since the construction began. And after some persuasion, Maggie ultimately decides to deliver food to a starving sanctuary. A herd approaches the repair crew after Justin fails to sound an alarm. Oh, yay, Justin, yeah. And Aaron's arm is crushed under the falling logs, if you remember. They had to cut off his arm. Daryl rescues Aaron, and Edith is forced to amputate Aaron's arm to keep him alive. Anne and Father Gabriel pursue a romantic relationship, which was kind of strange, I thought, but okay. But Anne takes note of a nearby helicopter. Rick updates incarcerated Negan on the bridge's progress, and Negan warns him his vision will fail. Justin is banished, of course, and on his way back to the sanctuary, he is abducted. Remember, we didn't know who the heck was doing all that, taking the saviors. They kept disappearing. Anyway, then we move on to episode 3, and Justin is discovered dead. Iraq goes missing as well, angering the saviors and postponing the construction on the bridge. And Rick asks Gabriel to follow Anne, who is revealed to have been trading people to a mysterious ally in exchange for supplies. Gabriel confronts her, forcing her to incapacitate him. Daryl and Maggie learn that Oceanside is the ones that have been capturing and killing the saviors, including a rat, as revenge for killing Oceanside's men. And as Cindy kills a rat, they walk away. And they decide to ignore Rick's way and confront Negan. Yeah, I think just walk away, let him do it. I thought that was great. That was good. We move on to the 4th episode, where Jesus tells Rick about Maggie's intention to assassinate Negan, and Rick tries to delay her entry into Alexandria. Anne plans to send Gabriel away to her mysterious ally, but she changed her mind, if you remember, and abandons him instead. The Saviors steal guns and confront Carol over Oceanside's actions. A riot ensues, and the gunfire leads a walker herd to their camp. Rick takes a horse to lead the herd away from the camp, but the horse is spooked and throws him off onto a concrete slab, impaling him with rebar and knocking him unconscious, of course, which we saw. And we were like, oh my God, no. I thought this was a great first half of the season. I really did. Wow, that was interesting to say the least. Then we go to episode 5, what comes after. And Rick is, of course, critically wounded and weak, and he attempts to draw the herd away on horseback. Maggie goes to execute Negan, but after realizing he is worse than dead already, she abandons the attempt. Rick leads the walkers onto the bridge and apparently sacrifices himself by blowing it up, stopping the herd. And of course, unknown to everyone else, Rick is found alive and rescued by Anne, who contacts her allies in the helicopter, and they gather the duo, flying to parts unknown. 6 years later, a now preteen, Judith rescues a new group of survivors from walkers. Yeah, 6 years have passed. That was quite a time jump. I was like, whoa. That was a big surprise for me. But Judith, wow, she is definitely her father's daughter for sure. She's got the colt and the hat. So, in episode 6, Who Are You Now? There's a lot of resistance, but Judith convinces Michonne to help Magna's group. She wrecks that group. There's Magna there and everybody. And by escorting them to Hilltop. While setting up radio transmitting equipment, Rosita and Eugene are followed another strange pair. Who'd have thought, right? But they're followed by a strangely acting herd of walkers. And that's when Eugene's up on the tower and he drops the bag, and then he tries to get down quickly and falls and hurts his knee. And then Carol takes teenage Henry to Hilltop to apprentice as a blacksmith. And they're ambushed by Jed, Regina, and several former saviors, of course, who steal their supplies. You remember Jed. And she's like, yeah, you kind of mess with the wrong one. You messed with my son. So she burns the group alive and takes Henry to visit Daryl, who is now living alone in the wilderness. And Negan remains a prisoner in Alexandria. But he's taken on a kind of a less antagonistic attitude. He's kind of chilled in the years he's been in there. I guess so, right? I guess so. But yeah, that was cool. Carol is Carol. She just calmly went over there. Whoosh. There they went. In episode 7, this was called Stradivarius, and Michael Kudlitz, who played Abraham, of course, directed this episode. Michonne helps lead Magna's group towards the hilltop, but refuses to travel all the way. She fears a confrontation with Maggie, of course. And she learns from Sadiq that Maggie recently left the hilltop in order to help Georgie build it. Remember Georgie? With the trailer and the twins, you remember her? Yes. But she went with her to build another community, leaving Jesus and Tara in charge. Michonne brings Magna's group to their former camp, allowing Luke to recover some of the musical instruments he had been scavenging, including a Stradivarius violin. Jesus and Aaron are discussing how to bring Hilltop and Alexandria closer. They see a flare shot by an injured Rosita, who informs them of Eugene's whereabouts. After escorting Carol and Henry to Hilltop in order for Henry to apprentice, Daryl takes Jesus and Aaron along with him to search for Eugene. And if you remember, they found him like buried in this, he had to stink to heaven, oh dear God, where they found him. And, excuse me. And of course you remember, the one started talking, and the one Walker, and walkers don't talk, they know this, and they're like, whoa, what is going on? Freaking crazy. Okay, we go on to episode 8, and that is called Evolution. And apparently, I think Maggie accidentally left his cell door, Negan's cell door, unlocked. He escapes from confinement. Henry begins his apprenticeship with Earl, but sneaks outside Hilltop and gets drunk. leading to him being temporarily imprisoned. Magna's group is ultimately accepted into Hilltop, but are told by Tara they must earn their keep. Daryl, Jesus, and Aaron find Eugene, who reveals that he heard walkers whispering to each other, suggesting they are evolving. Oh, yeah, no. The whispering herd pursues the group and corners them in a cemetery. This was freaking crazy. That was crazy. Michonne, Magna, and Yumiko arrive to help, but Jesus is killed after a walker stabs him through the chest. "You don't belong here," were his words. That was freaking crazy. He was all hi-ya, kung fu, taekwondo, just kicking butt, and that one just comes up and kabam, gets him. Oh, that was so sad. You don't belong here. Ooh, that was just crazy. And after fending off the herd, Daryl discovers that the Whispering Walkers are indeed people wearing walker skins, and the Whisperers suddenly surround the group. That had to be the best introduction to the Whisperers that could have been, I think. It killed Jesus. Oh my God, the look on his face, it was like, oh my God. And the way Daryl they discover they're actually people wearing skins is insane, I think. Daryl, they're looking at him close up, and Daryl discovers something out of whack there, and he takes the face off, and here's the skins. That's crazy. But just the way he said that, "You don't belong here." Okay. And all of a sudden you see all these whisperers around the cemetery. That was the end. Episode 8, that was the end. That was the mid-season finale, which was crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. What did you guys think of the first half of this season? It kind of recaps it. Everybody thinks Rick is dead. Daryl takes it hard, of course. He really does. Just crazy. And of course, the way they discovered, I think that was a great introduction to them. I think they came off as totally terrifying and bloodthirsty. I think it was one of their best episodes that TWD has released in years. It really evoked fear into people. But the mid-season finale, the time jump, I got used to it. At first, I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to like this, but it was really good. And it's as good as it ever been, I think. I think they went back to, what they did best, and now they're doing it again. And maybe one of the most important takeaways from the first half of the season is that season 7 didn't have to be so bad, right? Right. So the mid-season finale was an excellent episode from start to finish. It really was. And it was just awesome. Of course, with the second season, it's going to start Sunday at 9. Ooh, I have to work till 10, but, I'll watch it when I get home about 5 times. And it began, it took place over the course of the first 5 episodes. It began 18 months, a year and a half after the end of the war with Negan, of course. And it introduced us to the communities, a small jump into the future. Maggie's baby Herschel has been born, which we never knew about. And the communities were attempting to live in harmony with the saviors. Yeah, easier said than done, right? And of course, the experiment failed, largely due to one very big mistake. Rick thought that mercy and justice were one and the same thing. Yeah, no. Of course, not everyone agreed, and so both Maggie and the Oceanside women took matters into their own hands, of course, and social order broke down. And to everyone else, Rick died. I knew he didn't. I just knew they weren't going to kill him off like that. Um, I just knew it. I just knew he was going to live somehow. And hopefully, there's going to be flashbacks and, of course, the movies. So I'm looking forward to those. We fast forward 6 years or so, and the communities are kind of mysteriously separated from one another. Alexandria is completely cut off from the outside world. Judith is a big kid now, and Michonne has another child. Of course, we all think that the child is Rick's. Although it seems that it could be a couple years too young, but I don't think so. I think it's Rick's child. There's new characters in a completely transformed world. Everything felt new. It was kind of like a series reboot. It was well done. This first half of the season was totally awesome. With Rick and Carl out of the picture, a showrunner, Angela Kang, needed to change things up. That was established by her predecessor, Scott Gimple. Thank God he's gone. And everything changed. Everything is so much better. So, I love the new hairstyles going on at Michonne's and Carol's. I mean, it did the time jump. And they're hearing, of course, King Zeke are married. So that's great. I'm looking forward to that. I wish we could have seen it, but okay. Yes, we miss Rick, but things are going on. But we all know he's not dead, so that's it. We have one up on them apparently. So everything the past couple episodes has been building toward this one with Rosita and Eugene pursued by strange horde, of course, the Whispering Walkers, right? Carol going out finding Daryl to bring him back to Hilltop. And she's like, you think you've been out here too long there, Daryl? He's a little crazy. Michonne and the newcomers, and all these stories have converged into one. That built everything towards this massive showdown, the insane showdown. We also love, we love The Walking Dead because it feels like a horror movie broken out into like episodes, okay? We loved The Walking Dead for its characters, of course, but we also loved how it scared us. Could this possibly happen, especially at the beginning? We never knew what was around the next corner. The survivors were still getting used to the zombie apocalypse, and so were we, apparently. And all that changed with Alexandria and ultimately the Saviors and the Negan War. It's refreshing and fun to have that sense of horror return this season. Because right at the beginning, we see Daryl, Jesus, and Aaron watching a herd of walkers as they spin around in circles. It's bizarre and unnatural, of course, like some strange whirlpool of death in the middle of a field somewhere. But before the credits roll, the opening credits, we see one of the walkers suddenly stand up straight and turn his head to the left. What? I don't know about you, but I was like, what was that? Okay. It's a creepy, horrific sight because it looks so human. It's like at the beginning, I thought, oh my God, these walkers have evolved, right? But ultimately, we learned these people who sew zombie walker masks over their heads. But over the past few episodes, listening to these whispering walkers and seeing them in the opening segment, oh my God, that was just awesome. It was great. And scary. So there you go. The horror remains as our heroes find themselves surrounded before the episode turns to black. I, along with some other people, we were really getting annoyed with Jesus and his lack of a backbone, so to speak, because when we first met him, he was just killer. He was a beast, and they kind of killed that off in him, and that kind of bothered me. So yeah, it was like, that's not Jesus. So, he was suddenly the guy advocating for peace and mercy instead of Morgan, who did the time jump. But Jesus didn't have much to do. He was sort of generic. He was just kind of there. And then he finally started to be cool again. It was like, yes, he's back. Finally. I don't know, Scott Gimple. I don't know what the hell you were thinking, but okay. But he was secretly meeting with Aaron to teach him how to be a better fighter. Everything about all these characters has been better and more interesting this year. And I think Aaron is going to have a bigger role in the future. He's almost taken on Rick's comic book role, if you know the comics. So, especially with the beard and the fake arms. So there you go. When Daryl tries to lead the herd away from Eugene and his rescuers, his attempt fails. The firecrackers he sets off to lure the herd away failed to do so. And they're like, what the hell? They continue on in the direction they were going. Aaron, Jesus, and Eugene went. Daryl follows with Dog close by. I love Dog. Oh. And that Daryl has somebody now. I'm so happy for him. And his name's Dog. I love it. And of course, we find them in the graveyard. They try to escape into the graveyard, but they follow. And of course, poor Eugene is slowing everyone down. And it was just creepy to the max. He had the fog and the darkness and the creepiness and everything going on. The combination of the iron gates, the gravestones, and it's really creepy. And with the horror that pursues them, of course. I was truly scared for these guys. Oh my God, they're all going to die. And of course, they're risking everything for Eugene. And of course, I was kind of right to be like, oh my God, no. When Michonne and some others show up just in the nick of time to help open the gate. And of course, Jesus holds back and he's back to his hi-ya and kicking and stabbing and he's just kicking butt. He shouldn't have come back to do that. He's very sure of himself and a bit cocky. But, of course, he took out quite a few to make sure they have a bit more time to escape, of course. But they don't know what they're dealing with either. So they just think they're walkers, which they've dealt with how many times. Jesus goes out with style, man. And it was his best by far. His aerobatic ninja fighting on full display and cool swords play, of course. I just wish they had him doing more of that previously. When he goes to slash the final walker's head off in the creek, and it ducks. I think everybody was like, oh, what? He ducked? Walkers don't do that. They don't react to that. And I really think that threw him off and everybody off, of course. And the walker definitely evades the strike, comes up with his own blade. You are where you don't belong. Ooh. And he drives his blade in for the kill. And the look on Jesus' face is just, oh my God. The pain and surprise in his face was, he really, such an excellent job by him. Excuse me, still fighting this stuff. Of course, then we hear Aaron scream from behind the gate and rushes towards his friend. Michonne is close behind. Daryl shows up as well. And a group of blade-wielding walkers rush in from the fog, and of course a bloody fight ensues. And our heroes win the day, except for Jesus. Oh my God. I was just surprised I was like, boom, then he's gone. Wow. And Aaron is crying, and it seems, we're convinced that he's really, his grief. It was so shocking and very dark, and it was very dark and tragic, which was great. And of course, what a way for him to go out in his best form of character in a while. But I think this time, no, I don't think he's coming back. So what will befall the rest of our heroes, surrounded by a herd of walkers and its human puppet masters? Woo! Um, and what's up with Michonne? Michonne is kind of annoying lately. I don't know what it is. She's really like cold now. She's just like, is it because of Rick? Maybe she's doing it, she's done with the mercy and justice stuff. I don't know. She tells Carol she won't have more contact with Hilltop and the Kingdom because everyone is safe inside their communities. But the roads in between, aren't safe. Of course, that doesn't sound like Michonne, but I don't know. Maybe we'll find out more what's going on with her. She's so closed off from everyone. So we need some answers to that, people. We need some answers. If Michonne is this way for a reason outside of Rick's death, tell us, will you please, okay? Carol wants Michonne to come to the fair at the Kingdom, but she refuses. And Carol kind of just looks at her with, pity in her face. Maybe, of course, she's thinking how she convinced Daryl to come back. What can bring Michonne back? Henry is getting on my last nerve. He reminds me of Sam. I don't know. What do you think of Dwight doing the jump time to fear? What do you guys think of Dwight making the jump? He's going to be on fear with Morgan now. I think that's a rather interesting choice of character. I think that's a rather interesting choice of which one was going. I guess we'll wait and see what's going on as far as that goes. So we shall see, and of course Negan's gonna go on an adventure. I don't know. Definitely. I don't know. So, what do you think is going to happen? With the Whispers? It's going to get bloody. It's going to get awesome. Let's see. We shall see. It's rather interesting, I think. I don't know. Hopefully Michonne will come back to herself. I don't know if it's because of Rick or other things going on. Maybe Maggie, because Maggie left too. She just kind of just walked off. I don't know. After she played such a pivotal role, I was surprised that that's the way they did that, actually. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm sure we'll find out more. I know there's going to be, some flashbacks and stuff, so maybe we'll find out what the hell's been going on with her. Because we have no clue. There's nothing about Maggie. So maybe we'll find something out. So let's hope so. There's a lot of unanswered questions here. So in this looking forward, of course, The Walking Dead, deep scars will be revealed as old allegiances are tested and new bonds are formed. And of course, the Whisperers are going to challenge everything they knew. New enemy. Go see that trailer if you have not seen it. There's a few good trailers look, because it is going to be awesome. I think we're in for a treat this season. Let's see what they got. We shall see what we shall see. There's a question going around. Will Maggie join Rick Grimes' spinoff? It's about to return, of course, from its mid-season break. And it's been revealed that Lauren Cohen has been in talks with AMC to start a new Maggie Reese spin-off show. What do you think of that? I don't know. Interesting. But we can't wait to see what's going on, what's left as the survivors go up against a new and extremely dangerous threat. And of course, the Whisperers are on the scene, and they seem to be some of the best villains we've seen ever. There are also a bunch of spin-off series to The Walking Dead in the works, and one of them could focus on Lauren Cohen's character, Maggie. I don't know. It was teased that the fans hadn't seen the last of Maggie. I didn't think so either. I knew she'd be in flashbacks, possibly the movies. So, we shall see. She told The Hollywood Reporter at the Television Critics Association's winter press tour, she was in talks with AMC, but they were in the early days. But this could be just another hint. Maggie could return in the future. We'll have to see what happens. It's just that she did the show for so long. Time to be somebody else, I guess. We'll see what happens, is what she said. The Walking Dead is already one spin-off show in Fear the Walking Dead. So we shall see. There's also a Rick Grimes movie trilogy in the works, of course, with Andrew Lincoln already in the works. And The Walking Dead showrunner Angela Kang, who has done such a fabulous job since Scott left, thank you. She previously revealed that she has remained in touch with Lauren and hopes she will return in season 10. Georgie's group is definitely out there in the world doing stuff, and I have some notion of what they're up to, she revealed. We knew we were going to see Georgie again, sure. We'll have to see what spin-offs are coming. Interesting. If you don't want to hear any spoilers, now's the time to go. So, if you don't want to hear any, but if you want a little tease, this is a place to be. If you don't want to be spoiled, you are where you don't belong. So, there you go. Okay. We can't wait, of course, for Sunday. We're going to keep you updated as much as we can. Greg Nicotero directed the mid-season premiere, and it's called Adaptation. And the official synopsis is that the group unmasks a disturbing and dangerous new threat, of course. And an escaped captive revisits his past, of course, which is Negan. It's in Entertainment Weekly, they shared a photo that shows the survivors from the cemetery fight with the Whisperers coming home with Jesus' body. Oh! And they said it's going to be a direct pickup from where they left, where the mid-season finale ended. We're going to find what happens to that group that was in the cemetery as they make their journey back. See, the trailer released after mid-season sets up the half-season's numerous story threads. Of course, the bad guys, the Whisperers, who tempt Daryl by pointing out his solitary and primitive way of life means he has more in common with them than his old friends. Oh, they're going to try and recruit Daryl. Ooh. Michonne's hard-heartedness and her willingness to completely abandon her old dream of united communities, allowing the struggling kingdom colony to fail, and Negan's escape from prison and return to sanctuary. But what we're most, I think, kind of excited about is the fight between Daryl and Beta. Ryan Hurst, of course, from SOA. The Whisperer's second in command. He looks like, it looks like some intensely physical brawling. They're going to get into a little scuffle there. The fight between Daryl and Beta. That's going to be good. And Beta kind of looks like the Undertaker in this, if you ask me. He looks, especially in the comics. He's a 7-foot-tall former NBA player. Ryan Hurst is well over 6 feet tall in real life. But he looks truly enormous in this trailer. With his long hair, beard, grim mask, and imposing size, he looks like the WWE super heavyweight Undertaker, or even Kane, if you thought. And they're spooky dudes, these Whisperers. They basically live their entire lives in Slipknot cosplay. So there you go. If that makes sense to you, there you go. They wear human leather made from the skins of walkers and live among the dead. In the comics, they believe humans are animals who forgot their true nature. And the walker apocalypse has returned them to how they're supposed to be. Pack animals, led by Alpha. Oh, awesome. Samantha Morton. And if Alpha's Beta, second in command, is that fearsome of a fellow, she's going to be really screwed up, don't you think? I can't use the other word on here. She is totally jacked up, okay? In the trailer, she can be seen in a very long shot, and her signature bald head can be seen from behind in another. So they actually believe humans are animals, and they're reverting back to their true nature, how they're supposed to be. Interesting thought. And her daughter, Lydia, Castle Rock's Cassidy McClincy, she's from Castle Rock, telling Daryl he should join them. Lydia has an interesting relationship with Rick and Carl in the comics. And it looks like Rick's part is getting remixed and Daryl's taking that part. And maybe Henry will get, oh God, I hope not. We get Carl's story. Let's hope not. The story of the X-shaped scars will be told in flashbacks. The show will go back in time to show whatever happened that left Michonne and Daryl with scars on their backs. And Michonne believing the relationships between the communities are damaged beyond repair. Did Maggie order that by chance? Because they kind of called her out on Gregory. Don't do this in front of the kids, yada, yada. Do you think Maggie had something to do with that? And Angela Kang says, we'll definitely be telling the story of what happened. And what's kind of exciting about a 6-year jump is there's the opportunity to go back and tell some of the stories. Whatever it was jacked up. So there you go. According to Michael Cudlett's episode 7 director. It's a really big effed up thing that happened during that break. You will find out eventually what it was. And it was bad. Woo! And of course, even though Jesus died in the mid-season finale, Tom Payne hinted that we might not have seen the last of him, of course, the flashbacks. And he could pop up at any time. Andrew Lincoln will not be appearing in the flashbacks. Why? The flashbacks will be to the time between when Rick disappeared and now. So there. Of course, Lauren Cohen won't be back in Season 9, but she might be back in Season 10. Until there, Maggie will be off with Georgie, of course, played by Jane Atkinson. She has played so many roles very well. And Negan's going on a journey. He's going to have an adventure. He'd been in that cell for years. He's going to find a very different world out there from the one he knew. He learned some pretty interesting things while he's out there. And it's great to see Jeffrey do this journey, Western-esque type journey. And it should be fun for fans of Negan. And of course, the Harvest Festival is happening. In the comics, the Harvest Festival was a major event that brought the communities back together. But it was also infiltrated by the Whisperers, who did something really, really bad. There's no specific spoilers, but it started the war, so there you go. Angela Kang wouldn't say if that comics moments will be recreated, but the festival is happening. We really get to see what each community is and how they're even dealing with the very idea of the fair, because obviously it's been a point of contention between the kingdom and Alexandria. A Fargo star will be making an appearance. Eagle-eyed viewers spotted the guy in the trailer who looked a lot like Australian actor Angus Sampson, known for Fargo Season 2 and most recently, of course, Night Flyers. We don't know who the character is yet, but he tends to play guys with short tempers. So that's kind of what's coming up for the second half of Season 9. So this is going to be fun. I can't wait. I really can't wait to see what's going on with this. I don't know how these whispers are there. They're jacked up, man. So, and they're saying Season 9, Michelle, if you're listening, is heavily inspired by the comics. So they may stick to more the comics this time around, which should be interesting. Interesting. And given what we've seen in footage from Season 9, it's clear TWD Season 9 will adapt a new beginning arc from the comics. So, we've gone back to the comics to see what Season 9 has in store. But beware, this is going to contain huge spoilers for the comic series and possibly the show, of course. The Walking Dead Volume 22 represents a dramatic time jump for the series. Of course, that allows Kirkman a chance to interact with his characters in new context. It also conveniently provides an easy jumping on point for viewers who want to give the comic a shot. To help with both artistic and financial goals, A New Beginning introduces several new characters right off the bat. Issue 127 opens with a new group of survivors we haven't met before. Of course, Magna, and Luke, and Yumiko, Kelly, Connie, and Bernie. They're experiencing, of course, a bit of a crisis. They've survived the apocalypse by traveling around with the trailer that was hitched to horses. Magna's group quickly and unexpectedly becomes surrounded, of course, by walkers. And then Magna nearly gets bit on the arm. Bernie is killed by the horde. Jesus, of course, shepherds Magna and her crew down to Alexandria. Let's see. Magna and Yumiko have seen more opportunities. Still, they're an important part of the time jump. And the show may even find some renewed uses for them. So there you go. The only question is whose role from the comics will Sadiq take on in Season 9? What happened? Where is he anyway? Another character volume introduces is someone we may have already seen. Dante is a headstrong and charming hilltop soldier who develops feelings for Maggie. Dante kind of resembles a current character on The Walking Dead Season 8. Alden, so played by Callum McAuliffe. He certainly seems to harbor a lot of respect for Maggie. With Lauren Cohan, of course, she left. Maybe they'll find someone else for Alden. Let's see. Some of the comic book fans have taken the Jesus who rescues Magna's group. He's a bit different from the Jesus we're used to. People can change quite a bit in 2 years, of course. Take a look at the man that fans have enduring referred to as Bushido Jesus. Comic book fans, guys. Comic book fans. Excuse me. Most of your characters most of the key characters look different, of course. And again, the times, time has jumped, so They're going to look different. And in the comics, Old Man Rick, he shaved his graying hair, walks with a limp thanks to Negan. Now has a prosthetic hand covering up his stump. Okay. So that was Aaron. So a lot of comic stuff going on. And Dwight has finally realized that growing his hair out will cover that ugly burn. He's a full-time Alexandrian and is an important deputy ally to Rick, of course. But his role in Season 9 will change now that Daryl has scared him off. And he may not appear. Of course, we know now he's going to fear. He's going to make the jump to fear The Walking Dead. Interesting. In the comics, Michonne has quite simply run away after the traumatic events of all-out war. She lives in Oceanside and spends her days fishing for the network of communities. Of course, her role on the TV show has evolved quite a bit. It remains to be seen if she takes over for Rick. The Alexandria Block Party. Alexandria receives one itself following all-out war. In both the show and comics, Alexandria is in rough shape. It's been attacked by gunfire, grenades, and more. Many of the houses are just burnt out husks. By the time A New Beginning rolls around, of course, Alexandria has largely recovered. Buildings have been rebuilt. The Alexandrians are building new things on their own. Alexandria, the hilltop, and the kingdom all have thriving agriculture and trade with each other. Even Oceanside and the sanctuary are involved in this trade network. And thanks to the genius of Eugene, Alexandria has windmills, greenhouses, irrigation, and many other medieval-era luxuries. In the comics, Kirkman correctly assumes all the readers will accept these modest technological advances within a short time frame. The show, however, has already introduced an agent of change to quicken the pace. Georgie and her gift of knowledge to Maggie. That knowledge comes in the form of books, and Eugene is still around to read those books for the advancement of the settlements. So what do Alexandrians do now? They have an extended era of peace and prosperity. They throw a party. The 3 volumes that Season 9 is likely to cover A New Beginning, Whispers into Screams, and Life and Death. Those are issues 127 to 144, by the way. All of these volumes deal with Alexandrians planning a spring festival for members of all communities. The festival finally comes around on Life and Death, and all in all goes pretty well. They're all able to trade their wares with one another. Eugene even finds a nice CB radio that could come in handy. But things turn dark when people go missing from the festival. And then a line of... If you don't want to hear this and want to wait, then now's the time to go. I'll give you a minute before I go on. Okay, if you're ready. If you don't want to hear, don't hear. Okay, Eugene finds a nice CB radio that could come in handy. Things turn dark when people start go missing. And then... Okay, everybody gone that wants to be? A line of heads on stakes. Oh, this is going to be good. Are discovered on the outskirts of the community's territory. Guess what? The Whisperers have arrived. They've left their calling card. Nearly every era of The Walking Dead is defined by a singular villain. I had the governor, then Negan. But now they introduce a new dangerous and, quite frankly, creepy, scary, disgusting threat. The Whisperers. They're a group of individuals who have chosen to survive the zombie apocalypse by becoming the dead. They remove the flesh and viscera of corpses and wrap it around themselves as gruesome coats and masks. This is the strategy of masking one's scent from the other Walking Dead, of course, that Rick and everybody used before. The Whisperers take it to the absolute extreme, however, of course, living most of their lives in those costumes. Oh, they have to reek. The Whisperers receive their name from frightened hilltoppers in Alexandria who hear their whispers as the villains walk among the dead. A group led by new character Dante is ordered by Maggie to go find and rescue a member of a missing caravan. They eventually run afoul of this group of whisperers, making first contact. Dante is taken hostage, and they must gather together to negotiate release. It seems like the Whisperers are going to offer a new dynamic for the show. Their society is somewhat bestial and completely immoral. Similar to the Wolves, okay? There you go. Their leader, a middle-aged woman, is named Alpha, and her second command is called Beta, of course. They have both been Casper and Alpha's daughter, Lydia. So full steam ahead on the Whisperers. They eventually go to war, but that might take a story for another season. Season 9 will be jam-packed, as is, with just these few volumes. Crazy stuff. So that's what's going on. Interesting. So, apparently we're going to find out more, and the Whisperers are in full gear. They've got to be the creepiest, jacked up group we've seen yet. So, be prepared. Ooh, I can't wait. So we kind of recapped at the beginning of season 9. Hopefully we're going to find out what happened to Maggie. That would be nice. We know she went with Georgie. But where to and what she's doing is we'll never know. I wonder if Georgie is part of the group that took Rick away in the helicopter. I guess we'll have to wait to find out. I like the idea that they're doing this trilogy of movies about Rick. We'll be finding out more. And, of course, flashbacks and everything else going on. What's Daryl going to do? I guess we're going to find out. So, again, Walking Dead, season 9B starts Sunday at 9. I hope you're excited. I can't wait. To see. They're going to just take up from exactly where they left off. So that should be interesting. So, and so on Tuesdays every week, join me, and hopefully Michelle can join me sometime, and Rick to co-host for The Walking Dead on Tuesday nights. Okay, so that'll be starting next week, Tuesday. Can't wait, and be sure to join in the chat. I want to know what you think. Okay. Shout out to some groups. Let's do, I guess, True Horror Junkies, which I'm a part of. Art of Darkness, Horror Three-Ring Circus, Adriana and Michelle. Walking Dead Freak Show with Jason Boyce and Michelle Auger. Awesome group. Check it out, okay? Totally awesome. King Barker and Beyond. We also have... oh, dear God. We have Conflicted with Julie Kinney. And I can't think of the group with Mike Ronan, Wolves. I'll think of it. Sorry. And I want to shout out to Michelle. And thank you for doing Planet B period O period B period last night. I could not join her. I had to work till like 1:15 in the morning. So I was unable to join her. So thank you for... doing that, Michelle. Really appreciate it. I owe you one. So anyway, yeah, lots going on. Let's see. Survival Wolves. That's it. Survival Wolves with Mike Ronan. I knew I'd think of it. Just had to think of it. Of course, Walking Dead Freak Show is totally awesome. Those are Facebook pages. Please check them out. Totally great. Let's see. Shows coming up. Of course, listen to Chained on every other Thursday with Desiree Pickett. Totally awesome show. Love that show. She is so talented. Thank you so much for that. Zach Vladbrat, Saturday mornings. Check him out. We'll be updating our schedule. So checking KBLP LLC on Facebook to check out the episodes and see what's coming up, okay? You can also catch episodes on KBLP LLC 4 on YouTube. So check all these shows out. Totally awesome. I think we're going to do a short sports talk Monday night because we have things to say. I certainly do, and I'm just so ticked right now. I could spit nails, let me tell you, but we'll get to that on Monday.
Anyway, that kind of wraps it up for tonight. I hope you, tune in Sunday night and just kind of caught you up a little bit, what's going on, what's coming up. So, hope to see you on Tuesday where we'll discuss what happened on Sunday. Ooh, can't wait. Hope to see you all there. So that ends it for tonight. Thanks for listening. I'm trying to think if there's anything else we need to say. Don't forget Valentine's. Just come join me tomorrow night for DWD. Okay, we'll figure it out. I want to do another metal show probably next week. Chris is going to help me out with that, so thanks, Chris, for that. Going to give me some ideas. So anyway, y'all have any ideas? Let me know on KBLP-LSC. You can contact me through there. Leave a message or, contact me a messenger. It'll have it on there. So check it out. Let me know what you want to hear about, okay? Music-wise and for encounters. Okay, sound good? All right, then check out the schedule on KBLP LLC Facebook page, just so you can see what's coming up. All right, that's it for tonight. Have a great night. Thanks for listening. Peace out, y'all.
You want to die?
No, I don't. But I will. It's gonna happen. And if me dying could stop this, if it can make things different for us, for you, for all those other kids, it'd be worth it. I mean, was this the plan? Was it supposed to be this way? Is this who you want it to be? All you need to do is survive tonight. This is my show. You said it. This is my plan. You're all gonna do it.
While the night is closing in, my soul is so cold, but I wanna live again. I know
fire trucks everywhere. People from the neighborhood. It was my house they were there for. That was my mom in bed. Burnt down to nothing. That was the hard part. Yeah, she's just gone. I may be the one walking away. You're the one that's leaving. Again.
She wasn't sorry.
That's her. That ain't her. We ain't dead. Whatever happened, happened. Let's start over.
When the day has come and I've lost my way around, and the seasons stop and hide beneath the ground, when the sky turns gray and everything is screaming, I will reach inside just to find my heart is beating. You tell me to hold on, you tell me to hold on, but innocence is gone, and what was right is wrong. 'Cause I'm bleeding out, save the last thing that I did, to bring you down. I bleed out for you, so I bare my skin and I count my sins and I close my eyes and I take it in, and I'm bleeding out, I'm bleeding out for you. When the hour is nigh, hopelessness is sinking in, and the wolves all cry to feel the night with horror in. When your eyes are red and emptiness is all you know, with the darkness fed, I will be your scarecrow. You tell me to hold on, you tell me to hold on, but innocence is gone, and what was right is wrong. 'Cause I'm bleeding out, save the last thing that I did, to bring you down. I bleed out for you, so I bare my skin and I count my sins and I close my eyes and I take it in, and I'm bleeding out, I'm bleeding out for you, for you. I'm bleeding out for you, for you. I'm bleeding out for you. I'm bleeding out for you, for you. I'm bleeding out for you. 'Cause I'm bleeding out, save the last thing that I did, to bring you down. I bleed out for you, so I bare my skin and I count my sins and I close my eyes and I take it in, and I'm bleeding out, I'm bleeding out for you, for you.
I'm just a step away, I'm just a breath away, losing my faith today.
Falling off the edge today.
I am just a man, not superhuman.
I'm not superhuman.
Someone save me from the hate. It's just another war, just another family torn.
Falling from my feet today.
Just a step on the edge, just another day in the world we live. I need a hero to save me now. I need a hero. I need a hero to save me.
heard today.
My voice will be heard today.
I've gotta make a stand, but I am just a man.
I'm not superhuman.
My voice will be heard today. It's just another war, just another family
My
torn.
voice will be heard today.
It's just another kill. The countdown begins to destroy ourselves. I need a hero. Save me now. I need a hero.
Save me now.
I need a hero. Save my life. A hero will save me.
Just in
I need a hero. Save my life. I need a hero. Just in time. Save me just in time. Save me just in time. Who's gonna fight for what's right? Who's gonna help us survive? We're in the fight of our lives.
When I'm ready to die.
Who's gonna fight for the weak? Who's gonna make them believe? I got a hero. Living in me. I gotta fight for what's right. Today I'm speaking my mind. If it kills me tonight,
When you're ready to
a
die.
hero's not afraid to give his life. A hero's gonna save me just in time. I need a hero. Save me now. I need a hero. I need a hero. Save my life. A hero will save me. I need a hero. Who's gonna fight for what's right? Who's gonna help us survive? I need a hero. Who's gonna fight for the weak? Who's gonna make them believe? I need a hero. I need a hero. A hero's gonna save me just in time.
Daryl, Abraham, Sasha, they have vehicles. They're gonna lead them away just like the others. And Glenn and Nicholas are gonna walk back through the front gate after. They know what they're doing. And we know what we need to do.
As a child, you would wait and watch from far away. But you always knew that you'd be the one to work while they all play. In youth, you'd lay awake at night and scheme of all the things that you would change, but it was just a dream. Here we are, not turn away now. We are the warriors that built this town. Here we are, not turn away now. We are the warriors that built this town. The time will come when you have to rise above the rest and prove yourself. Your spirit never dies. Farewell, I've gone to take my throne above, but don't